Okay, we'll call the meeting order at 12:20. And Sue, you want to take roll call?
Board Member Reister.
Here.
Board Member Doyle.
Here.
Board Member DeVore.
Here.
Board Member Springer is absent. Board Member Cease.
Here.
Board Member Wakeman.
Here.
Board Member DeVoe is absent. And Chair Reagan.
Here. Did she just say the microphone is not?
No, Julie. DeVoe.
Oh, okay, Julie, okay.
Missing a letter.
Without the R.
So we need a motion to approve the absence of Springer and DeVore.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Approval of the agenda, need a motion for that. Second.
Second.
Second by Eric. Any discussion or changes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And approval of the minutes from the previous meeting from October 10.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Mike, is there a second?
Support.
Brian, any discussion or corrections? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report, Sue?
Our current balance is $819,894. We've received so far this fiscal year $476,944 in TIPA revenue, and we're expected to receive $545,000 by the end of the winter tax season.
Okay, any questions for Sue? Need a motion to approve this treasurer's report? Brian, is there a second?
Support.
Mike, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And public comments for items not on the agenda? If none, we'll move on to anything on old business, Mike?
Nope.
Okay, move on.
We're,
to-
the only thing we're still trying to work with John to get the setup for the, you have some?
John Winger?
Yeah, for the,
Yep, he's working on it right now.
okay, yeah.
So I was gonna let you know that, we'll have sound on the Riverwalk for Saturday.
Oh, we will, okay.
I'm not sure that the rest of it will be in all the way down, but
Okay,
he's working on it right now. as we
Okay,
speak,
great.
or as we sit here.
thanks.
Okay, moving on to new business, and on your packet has the dates for the DDA meetings for 2020.
Set in concrete, guaranteed not to be canceled.
I can't guarantee they won't be canceled if we don't have business, but these would be the dates. One thing I forgot to mention, by state law now, we have to have the 2 informational meetings. So I would propose we set those for the April 9th meeting and the October 8th meeting. Other than that, the schedule would be,
Are you sure you're gonna do one night, that just thinking that spring week?
okay.
I don't know.
Well, we gotta do the budget. We can do it, we could move it to May. Well, we can move it to May 7th.
Okay.
So May 7th then?
Yeah,
For the organizational meeting.
yeah, the informational meeting. The one where we have to invite the tax jurisdictions.
Okay, with that change, we need a motion to approve the meeting dates for 2020. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second for the dates for 2020. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I got a report in our packet for the engineering for Riverside Drive.
Yes. In the current fiscal year, the funds are budgeted to reconstruct Riverside Drive from near Backwater Cafe to Elm Street. This project is in the Downtown Development District. Development Authority District and road improvements in the district are an allowable expense under the Downtown Development Authority statute. A proposal is attached for the design engineering for the reconstruction of Riverside. This will allow for Williams & Works to survey, conduct 3 soil borings, do design engineering, develop bid specifications, and administering the bid process for this project. Cost for those services is $7,400. What we're trying to do is we're looking at tying this project in with a proposed project for Suffolk, Howard, and Elizabeth Streets. next summer. And with the potential of doing all these projects at once, could hopefully reduce some of our costs, construction costs. That project, so we're planning on beginning that project right when school gets done. We might be able to schedule this project for work just before that, or maybe even after. It just really depends on how things play out. But I'm recommending the Downtown Development Authority approve a proposal for Williams & Works for design engineering for Riverside Drive at a cost not to exceed $7,400.
And where's Elm Street? Is that the first street?
That's right where Low Lake Power is. Right when they tee off,
Okay.
it's the next street. Yep. That's all in your district.
Okay. Is there a motion for that?
What's the reason for the engineering of just that little section costing that much?
Dan, do you want to answer that question? The question is, why does it cost that much for the engineering? I mean,
Well, there's work that needs to be done, like survey work to get all the layouts of where everything is, curbs and drainage and driveways and all that type of things. And then there's they have to put the bid specifications together. Soil borings, they have an outside company that comes in and does those. We want to make sure we know what's under the existing asphalt, so we put the road back in and we don't want it to fall apart right away. It just takes some time and some energy to do that on the engineering.
But it's only just a few feet.
It's a short piece, but if
Tiny.
it was twice that long, it'd probably be the same price. It's just, that's what it takes to do those type of things. Longer, a little more survey work, and that's about it, and then it's another piece of paper, but you still have to go out and make that effort to do that work, and that's everybody involved with that. That's that cost of that $7,400.
So are they gonna survey further on?
Just the area in question. So that we want to get fixed, that area that where obviously the asphalt needs to be replaced.
yeah, if we had the money to do Riverside, we'd probably do Riverside all the way to the city limits, but we don't.
And that'd be outside the district.
It's outside the district, yes.
Okay, any other questions? Need a motion? Anybody want to make that motion? I'll make the motion. Still need a second.
Second.
Eric? And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And Amity Street.
Last fiscal year, the city submitted a Transportation Economic Development Fund grant to reconstruct Amity Street. At the time, we asked the state for $250,000 or half the cost to reconstruct Amity. The city, along with no other community in West Michigan, received any funding from this grant program, and we didn't get it for Amity. The Kent County Community Development Block Grant application process has just begun, and we were looking at submitting a grant through that for Amity. We intend to apply for half of the construction costs. This will require the city to fund the remaining portion of the grant. Amity Street from Main Street to Elm Street is in the Downtown Development Authority district. The total cost to reconstruct 7 blocks of Amity is approximately $500,000. The most the DDA could fund of this project, for the construction of this project, is $142,857. This will be an important part of our grant application and relieves the local street front from a portion of this expenditure and allows them to address other streets in the network. If the city received this grant, the window to complete the project is from August 2020 until April 2021. Being there are minimal underground utility issues, the timeline for the project is relatively short. However, the project will commence during the time school's in session. This project, if we're interested, we would be budgeting it for the 2021 fiscal year, which is next year. However, funds are currently available to complete this contribution. I'd like the DDA to consider setting aside funds to just pave the portion that's in their district, and that's what I'm recommending.
So that's $142,000.
Be $142,000 would be our share of it if we were interested in doing that.
Why are you choosing Amity? What's your thought process?
The thought process of Amity is a highly traveled street in the, in that area because it is an access to the school. It's also basically for residents in that neighborhood that is their pass-through to get from Maine to their houses in that area. And a lot of times when they don't go down don't go down all Nash and G, they cut through there. The road's in bad shape, but it is a highly traveled road. And it's also Amity Street with this project, it's in the low income, it's in the low income census tract zone, which makes CDBG eligible for those funding, is why we're looking at that.
And now you have the school occupying the St. Mary's School.
Correct. Correct. So you're going to have more traffic. We're trying to do what, we don't have a lot of money for streets, but we're trying to do what we can. And because Suffolk and Howard are major streets, the way our funding is categorized, we can address those streets, but the way our funding is categorized right now, we couldn't take other streets that aren't major streets and address those. And Suffolk and Howard are major streets, so Amity's not a major street, it's actually a local street, which that plays into our funding issues.
And it is in the, DDA district.
First two blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, not the whole thing, but, does it, go up to, the old Newell plant too at all, or not? Does? Okay.
Goes to Suffolk.
Probably stops at the school then?
Yeah, it goes to Suffolk.
Okay. So we need a motion for 142,857. That would be the TDA's portion for that. We need a motion to that.
So moved.
Eric, is there a second?
Also.
Okay, Mike? There's a motion and a second to approve the 142,857 from the Amity Street project. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Ask another question.
Sure.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Why would you go just to Suffolk and there's only one more block of that road?
It ends at Suffolk.
Okay, Suffolk. All right.
Yeah, it ends.
So you're doing the whole thing?
We would do all of it, yes.
Do you have to do something special for the trucks because the second block is it's a factory?
Gear forms.
Yeah, we've looked at that, so there would be different compactions and concrete mixes for that. Dan's looked into that.
And that's one of the things we'd have to look at, and for the thick area, that would be the truck route for the trucks, we'd make the asphalt thicker and the gravel thicker and make sure it's done properly. But this is an opportunity to get some outside funding to help with our street system here throughout the entire community, and something like CBDG funds, it's a rarity that most communities don't fall into that category very easily. It's nice to see that we have an opportunity to get somebody else's money to help us do our streets.
But if you're a betting man, do you bet that we get it?
No. 50-50, and it's to anybody. But if you don't ask, you aren't going to get it.
Right.
And if we can't say that we aren't going to support it, then they're not going to support it either. So this is just the beginning steps for getting to that situation. They didn't support it when it was all 500,000 we were asking for, whatever the portion that was. Here's an opportunity of a different funding source that's, as Mike's memo says, that first funding source, nobody in West Michigan received it. These funds are hard to get and they're tight. And when there's an opportunity, the community spoke. We're trying to do everything we can to pull in as many outside dollars as we can. But for local streets, there just aren't any. The major streets we can get funding for. They say G, Bose. Those funds they're not easy to get, but they're prevalent. They're out there. Local streets, I don't know of any other than this program and the one Mike tried for before. But again, they're so hard to get because everybody's trying to get them. That when we do have an opportunity, and we can put what happens with these applications as well is the more information you can put into them, that there's more support and there's more help and there's more outside people working together on this. It's a point system, and then it adds to the points, and it improves your chances. I mean, it works that way with grants that you go after for park improvements. It works that way for grants you go after for any type of state type grants for waterways or anything like that. And the more that you can show that there's cooperation amongst everybody, it helps with the process. It doesn't guarantee anything. It just helps when they go to review these that they say, hey, look, you're getting some help. I mean, there's other people involved with this. It's not just them giving us money to do that. So it all kind of works together. It's kind of, it's a lot of moving parts that you bring together to make this happen.
Is it half or nothing?
Well, no, they might, we don't know, they could just say, okay, we'll give you 80,000, we don't know. I've figured out the numbers that it's probably something we can do at this point regardless. I mean, if we got $80,000, we didn't get 250,000, I think we can do it. It's just a matter of
Still,
something else is
better
done.
than 250.
Right, exactly. I'll take what I can get at this point.
And the more you show that you're helping the cause by putting in more percent from the city's end or the community's end, again, it's a point system. They say, okay, you're putting in 20%, so you get more points than the person putting in 10% or however many percent it is. But they look at those things. They got groups of people. That's all they do is look at those things and rate them, and then send them on to the engineers. Say, okay, we can fund this, but we're not going to fund those. It's kind of hard to follow sometimes too when you get this. You say, why did they get it and we didn't? But with CBDG, it's another one. It's a federal. So there's more. Unfortunately, with federal dollars, there's more hoops to jump through than if it was local money or state money. But that's what you have to do if you're going to use other people's money.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? When will we find out?
Actually, there's a schedule. We probably will find out in the spring. March, I believe, is when we would find out. We have till January to submit it.
Okay, that's it for new business. And we'll move on to report and member comments before we go into closed session.
I just have a comment. The lights that are in back of Shamira and that group of buildings, at one point after they redid that parking lot, there was issues with some lights and there still is.
Okay. I'll look into it.
The N2,
The N2?
yeah.
Okay.
And, in between, where the first parking spaces are.
Okay.
They
All right.
stick around and all.
All right, I'll look into it.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Eric?
None.
Okay, Rick?
No.
Brian? Okay, we need a motion to go into closed session.
Yep. Motion to support, then a roll call vote.
Okay,
So move.
Brian, so made a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
And all those in favor signify by, we need a roll call, is that?
Yeah, you need a roll call.
And who seconded that?
I did.
Okay. Board Member Reister?
Present.
Board Member Doyle?
Yes.
Board Member DeVore?
Yes.
Board Member Springer is absent. Board Member Cease?
Here.
Board Member Wakeman?
Yep.
Board Member DeVoe is absent, and Chair Reagan.
Yes.
We have 6, we can go.
Okay, so we're going to closed session.
We'll shut the doors.